Welcome to episode 61 of 100 Songs. Today we're talking about the band Spiritualized and the song I Think I'm in Love off of the epic Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Space, which came out in 1997 and is my favorite Spiritualized album. And the live album that came out after this, Royal Albert Hall, is one of my favorite live albums. It's very, very good. I like a lot of live albums, so it's kind of hard to say it's one of my favorite, but it is very well done. And it's up there for live albums for me. So Spiritualized formed after Jason Pierce broke from Spaceman 3. Spaceman 3 really just had issues and broke up, and Jason Pierce went on his own and started Spiritualized. Released several EPs in 94, and then came out with their debut album, Laser Guided Melodies, and then an album called Pure Phase in 1995. And then, Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Space came out in 97. And the band itself is fronted by Jason Pierce, does the vocals and guitar, and a lot of the knob turning and mixing and overall production. It's basically his band. And there are a core set of musicians that he started with, and then that lineup has changed over the years, and with him being the constant. The Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Space did have a lot of special guests, and it was also a bit of a change in direction. So this album in particular broke a pattern of minimalism and repetition with a different direction that's more, well, it's a lot of things actually. It combines a whole bunch of different genres. The band in general does. It's a rock, at its core. Jazz, there's some blues, some gospel, some orchestral elements. There's use of choir, backup singers. There's some shoegazy moments in it as well. But their previous efforts leading up to this album had more drone. I guess it was a little more shoegazy, if that even makes sense for them. And this album was more, I would say, accessible, if that's even an okay way to put it. I personally like this one the most. They have had a lot of albums overall. Not a lot as in they're super prolific. There's a lot of gaps in between albums, but after the Live in Royal Albert Hall album in 1998 came out, he retooled the band and got a lot of new members. I think all but one were let go, and then a new crew brought in and did Let It Come Down in 2001. So it was a few years after the live album that came out. And that was their most commercially successful album, I'm pretty sure. And then 5 more albums after that over the years, with some hiatus here and there, and some medical issues with Jason Pierce. For a while he was very sick, And when he would do some of his shows, he would be sitting down. He looks very frail. I forget, at the time I remember looking up, I was like, what is going on with Jason Pierce? And I'm actually forgetting what his specific medical issues were, and maybe he still has them, but it hasn't stopped him from creating a lot of great music. His most recent was 2022, and I actually really like that album. Just came out a couple years ago. Nothing has been as good to me, though, as Ladies and Gentlemen or Floating Space. But I appreciate the whole catalog. I really do. I did I recently, a couple months ago, I put together a greatest hits, a playlist of all Spiritualized songs that are like my favorite. And I do that with bands that I like a lot. And I put that together, and in doing so, re-listened to everything. And then it occurred to me, like, yeah, I like stuff from their entire catalog. So certain albums are way more heavily featured in my playlist, but there isn't there isn't a time in the catalog or a period or album that I just don't like at all. So the song, I Think I'm in Love, I just picked this one. I could have picked a lot of different songs off of this album or another album, but this album is the one that got me into Spiritualized. It was about the time I got into Spiritualized. It was the late 90s, and this was I'm trying to remember where I heard them initially, but this whole album takes you for a ride. He described, I have a quote from Jason. He described it as a heartfelt confessional of love and loss, with redemption found only in the form of drugs. And the packaging is even meant to look like a prescription. And he has done a fair amount of drugs in his life. I think he's pretty open about that. And this album is, well, like I said, it's about love and loss. It does take you for a ride, though, from beginning to end. It's very good. There is really no weak parts, in my opinion. The whole album flows great. It's, got some heft to it. It says 70 minutes on the front album cover. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but it's got a lot to it. A lot of songs, a lot of length. Cop Shoot Cop is kind of at the end of the album, is a long, very noisy but very cool song. And then just all the way through it is woven these different moods, different soundscapes, a lot of different instruments used, and it's just incredible to listen to. Let's see, what else do I have to say about this? Let's listen to a little bit of the song that I chose for 100 songs, called I Think I'm in Love. It would help a lot if I had that queued up when I'm making a video. That would be really super helpful. So this section of the song's 8 minutes long. It's a pretty long song. There's a really long instrumental part at the beginning, and I'm going to pick up this at about the 4-minute mark, right before the vocals kick in. So there's a long build up, and then the vocal portion of the song is a lot of call and response. You'll see what I mean. And let's just get into it. So I'll stop rambling. Listen to all the different sounds. I'll stop it right there. It goes on for a little longer. Let me give you a sense of what the opening sounds like. I'll just pick a random. I'll just go 1 minute in. Oh, I'm a liar. That's right. There's this vocal part at the beginning. Think I'm in love. There's a couple of really very sad songs on this record. Broken Heart and this is just a beautiful, intense, and I would say brilliant record. Definitely check it out. If you're a fan, you definitely, obviously, already have. And is maybe why you're here right now. I don't know. But it's definitely, I already said definitely. Let's go to the wheel, see what we're going to talk about next episode. Budge by Dinosaur Jr. Okay, this is going to be a fun one for sure. Before I like to do this. I've seen Spiritualized twice, and I have both ticket stubs because it was when I still was getting ticket stubs. This is the first one. I'll share really quickly. The Fillmore, November 11th, 2001. This show was spectacular. He had, my gosh, he had the whole band, in addition to like 5 backup singers, or maybe it was 3. But he had some backup singers, in the back part of the stage, and then he had a horn section, and then he had all the regular. It was just like this huge, not huge, but a lot of musicians, singers, and it was like this big thing. And I remember standing there at the Fillmore, and I was blown away. Like, the show started, and the lights were blaring, and there's all this sound, and it sounded so good, and it looked so good. I was just like, holy shit. It was a great show. I actually got the poster, because if you go to the Fillmore, they give you the poster, which I think is great. All the ones I've ever had, I have hanging in my garage. Because it's cool art, really. This is one of the ones I got. I should have brought it for this video. Maybe I will. But it's got I'll go get it. I'll do a cut and go get it. The other concert I went to was 4 months later, 2002. I don't know why they were in San Francisco 4 months later, but they played at the Warfield. And this one was a more stripped down version of the same, not the same, but the same main players, just a stripped down version without the orchestra and the backup singers. And it was very cool again. And then I did see him one more time several years later, and I don't have the ticket stub because it was when they stopped producing ticket stubs, and then you would print your ticket, or you'd have it on your phone or something. I think it was pre-phone, but post actual tickets, something like that. So yeah, I saw him again. So I've seen him 3 times total. I'm going to go get the poster because I think it's cool. I went out to the garage and got it. It's cool. This is it. It's got a huge glare on it because of the stupid light. I think you get the idea though. It's live. Excuse me, the Fillmore 11/11/01, and then you got the pills and the headphones. Very, very simple poster, but it's pretty cool. And so there you go. Oh, it even says, what's that say? Sunday. It was on Sunday, apparently. Yeah, it says that on my ticket. Okay, well, anyway, Sunday. Just wanted to share that. These sell online because they're really super limited, right? They hand out a bunch at the show and then that's it because it's got a unique date on it. So these go online for a few bucks, but I don't want to sell them. I like them. I like having them in the garage and what have you. All right, enough. Take it easy.